I don't know why that happened just now, but okay. Alright, that was silly. Hello everybody. Hello. Alright, I think I've added everyone that would care to know. Alright, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. Put that over here. I was up late last night working on Warglaive too, so oh god. I do need to take a day off soon or I'm gonna burn out. The work rate is I'm happy I'm making progress, but I do need to slow down a little bit. Otherwise I'm gonna hit a really major wall. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna be working on this today. Yeah, we'll just do that just so you guys don't have to. There. There. That way you guys can just see the workload. Just double checking I'm actually live right now. Sometimes YouTube is YouTube. Yep, looks like we're live. Okay, good. Alrighty, so I guess I'll jump right back into work. Shit, before I do. Turn off desktop audio and I'll listen to some music till some folks hop in and want to chat back and forth. What to listen to, though? Could cheat and go to Spotify. Nah. Oh, hey, Abbott. What's up? Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you as well, buddy. Yeah. I was just going to be working on some Warglaive stuff. I figured I'd live stream it since I'd be working on it anyway. And I won't live stream every time I work on Warglaive, because if I did that, I'd be streaming every day. And normally I do my best work when I can shut my brain off and I have like something playing on the side, just kind of hyper-focus on the work itself with like some white noise. But I figured doing the occasional stream while I work and offer to answer questions and stuff might also be kind of helpful. Alright. Actually, let me turn back on wireframe here. There. Looks so messy like that. Alright, let me turn off those eye lenses. Just having your coffee, still awakening, planning your day, make it a dumb joke image. That's a good start to your day, I'd say. Alright. Actually, I have a way to do this that I think will work. Oof, that's ugly. Ooh. It mutates. Hmm. Okay, my plan there might not work. Yeah, the interesting thing with using Blender when I'm so used to things like Maya is, though the tools are corely the same, it's the approach that is slightly different. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is how I do it in Maya. That won't work here. How do I do it with Blender? Yeah, because I'm trying to think of how I can add the little, let me show what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I'm trying to add these little port things here, but I'm not sure how I want to do that. Hey, Tim. I'll jumping in real quick to get a peek in. Yeah, cool. Hope you're having a good day so far. I know there is a tool in Maya that allows me to like make an object and then use it to make little cutouts of an existing mesh. I can't remember if Blender has the same tool. I figure Blender does, because Blender has like all the core tools of the industry. I'm just trying to think. I guess I could look it up. Sad thing with getting used to Blender when you're used to a completely different software is all of the reflexes I've had for years for Maya don't apply. Well, some of them do, thankfully. That way I'm not starting from complete scratch, but a lot of the UI is the biggest shift from going for something like Maya to Blender. Hey, Lenny. Love to see the work. Here to show my support. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, I will say this. Major thanks to Genevieve for pointing out to me the edge crease tool here, because that helps with like smoothing meshes and while still retaining those sharper edges. And I didn't know about that tool in Blender when I was so a little while back. I say that like 6 months ago is when he pointed that out to me. I was like, okay, well, thank you for that. Alright, for now, because I can't think off the top of my head how I'm going to pop out those little puncture holes for the vents. Oh, well, let me try something. Well, okay, let me try this. So we'll do what I did before. Try and shrink it a little bit. Probably doing this the worst way you can do it, but still I'm trying to... it's not gonna work. Hold on. Can I change the gizmo? No. Okay. I think I'll hold off on that for now until I can look up a tutorial. Because I know, again, I know there's a tool in Maya that allows me to make a mesh. Basically, like I can make a little cylinder, or I can make a little cube, and I can put it inside of another object. And then applying a setting, it allows me to basically remove that same equal material of that mesh from an existing object. Kind of basically, I in my head, I'm calling it a hole puncture, effectively. But technically, it could be used in the inverse as well. It could be used to add material in a spot as well as remove it. But I don't know what that tool looks like in Blender. And I don't even know how long it took me to look it up. So I'll save that for off stream. For now, we'll start on some other material. Alright, so I already got the face plate, and I got the eye lenses. Hey, Gilly Guy. Making minis for a game? Yep, I'm working on a head... Well, I almost said head sculpt. Technically, it's not a sculpt. Part of it's sculpted, but that's, I'm working on a head model for it. Yeah, right now I've got... like, the base head to kind of use as, like, a frame of reference. I don't know if I'll use this final head bit as, like, an actual part of the final printable model, but this is being used as, like, a frame of reference for scaling and, like, putting everything together. So I got the head, I got a base head mesh to work off of. I got the first face plate and the 2 eye lenses. So now I'm going to be working on the... well, there's the visor I got to do. Let me show you guys this better. Oops. So this is the helmet I'm working on, and these are the different angles I have to work with. You have no idea how Blender works, so I can learn a little by watching. Sure. I will make it clear, I'm no master with Blender. If I were in Maya, I could zip through this a lot faster. So, but because I can't even say relearning, because I never properly learned Blender. So, finishing learning Blender for the first time, it's a bit of a slower process, because I don't know where all the tools are. I'm very used to Maya, which the tools in Maya I'm so practiced with, I knew where everything was instinctually. With Blender, I got a huge learning curve. But, yeah, we're just working on the helmet today. Yeah, I got a couple other heads I made for, like, different variants. But, that'll be for when I finish this mesh. Okay. So, next up, I think I'll model the little earpiece. Yeah, that should be real quick. Okay. So, I don't need the eye lenses for that. Whoops. There we go. Alright, let's reduce that to 20 sides. Yeah, 20 is enough. Actually, that might be too many vertices, to be honest. Alright. You know, a part of me hopes Janovich never tunes into one of these streams, because he's gonna be raging. He's like, there's a tool for that! There's a tool for that! Why are you doing that manually? There's a tool for that! I wouldn't blame him either. I'm sure, you know, if someone who's experienced in Blender tunes in, they're gonna be so annoyed. Because, my approach right now is very slow. Because I don't remember, well, I can't say I don't remember, I don't know all the tools in it. But this is how you learn. By jumping in the deep end. Alright, so that aligns. Actually, it's a little, there we go. By the way, you guys can't hear the music I'm listening to, can you? Like, there is the background music I put on for you guys. It's kind of like an 80s synth thing. But you guys can't hear what I'm listening to. I hope. Because what I'm listening to is copyrighted. Alright. We can go about there. The only person I know who knows Blender is the girl I'm friends with, who does engineering work and likes Harlequins and Sisters. Wow, you gave me your whole bio. You like her? Hmm? Mm-hmm. Sorry. Alright, let's go face. Alright. Did my copyright strike you? Well, they'll probably try then, because I have pauldrons for, not... Well, I have shoulder pads for the Jekyll troopers that'll go. I wouldn't call them pauldrons, because they're too small. But the actual Helsing units, all assault Helsings have one big one on one arm. It's on the same arm that they have their, I'll call it a shield, but there's another term for it. Buckler. It's kind of like a sharp buckler. I can actually pull up the art reference so you can see what I'm talking about. I gotta make sure I pull up that one and not show you guys any art that isn't ready to show. Alright, for context, by the way, for the music you guys hopefully can't hear that I'm listening to to Bury the Light Deep Within. Alright, let me pull this up. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so... talking about this. So, this is an Assault Helsing. Assault Helsings are the core infantry of Helsings. They are both ranged and melee. Depending. Well, they service both. They have a long range, it's called a Cross Revenant. It looks like a crossbow, but it fires energy bolts. Or plasma bolts, I should say. Well, I don't know if it's not technically plasma. The point is, it fires a form of a energy projectile. But they also can handle up-close melee combat. So they have one arm that is minimally armored. And they have another which is got this sharpened buckler of sorts. So basically, if they punch you with this fucker, that's going to hurt like hell. Also, but this little gem in the center, it's from Mordred. They harvest like these energy crystals from the homeworld. They can also grow them on other planets once they terraform them to be like Mordred. But these energy crystals help generate a energy field around them that protects them from initial blows. But so it's not just a physical shield, it's also a projecting an energy shield to help protect them. And of course, they got the thicker pauldron right there. So that's conceptually what's going on there. So GW will probably try and get me for that. Hey, Nico. We claving some more today? You mean glaving? Clave? What the fuck's a clave? Oh, good lord. That looks about right. That's about what I wanted. Alright, so that's... There you go. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to mirror duplicate faster in Blender. Yeah, I've been going through a lot of tutorials, trying to, again, bridge my knowledge gaps best I can between Maya and Blender. Though admittedly, I'm eyeballing a lot. Alright, let's see how that looks with the mesh turned off. Alright, let me also turn on... Yeah, let me turn the eye lenses so I can see kind of not the full ensemble, but what I have so far. Damn blind. What? It's the John Warglaive. Actually, let me make that... Let's see if I can do it to both of them at the same time. Alright. Alright, so I got the lenses, got the faceplate. So I need to add another bolt. Because as you can see through the concept art, actually let me turn off a couple things so you can see better. Alright, let me turn off this cylinder. Yeah, so you got the... you guys can't see my cursor. Alright, well, this centerpiece right here. The centerpiece right here that you guys see, kind of like that bolt right there, that it kind of feeds right into the plate. Oh, hey, Nathan! Yeah, so I need to add another bolt right underneath where the visor starts. And I think at that point... Actually, maybe I could achieve that with a... Let me take a look. Could I theoretically... Nah, because it's off-center. So I'd have to move, like, parts of the mesh around. I think it'd be easier just to make a small, low-poly cylinder. It'll happen faster. Alright. And mesh cylinder. Alright, let's go 90 degrees. Resin traps, I prefer the term forbidden syrup. Ah! Ah! I don't know why, but reading that made my stomach churn. Nathan, have you ever smelled liquid resin? Ah. I have a physical reaction to that. Oh. I've never tasted it, but I've smelled it. It's so bad. There's a reason you need to have a ventilator on when you work, especially when you're working with a lot of it. Oof. Oh god, that hit me in the gut. I was like, oh, that was visceral. Oh god, that's it's so gross. Forbidden. Oh. Oh. Fuck you. Oh, that's so gross. Oh. I gotta get it out of my head. Fuck. Hey, Karen. How you doing? Oh, god damn it. I was thinking about getting lunch right before work later, but now, ugh. If I ever get hungry this evening, I'm just gonna think about that and I won't have an appetite. Okay, let me see that turned off. Kind of off center a little bit, but technically that doesn't mesh up exactly with the concept art, but that's fine. Concept art is just for the derivative anyway. Actually, that molasses quality. Why? Liquid resin, also known as Nurgle's love juice. You guys are here to torment me. What did I do to you? Clearly something bad. Actually, so let me move that back where it was intended to be. So I just realized I don't know if this will work too well. Alright, so okay, so yeah, it's still mirrored. Can't remember, does it does not mirror when you do excess tools though. Okay. Ugh. I still feel in my gut. Fuck! Such a gross thought. Oh, wow. Without even properly eyeballing it, I think I got it. Alright, let me see here. Nah, I'll just do that with the cylinder later. Maybe for the biodegradable resin, gotta stay healthy. You mean liquid resin? I mean, you mean, water washable resin? Hey, Brett the Brutal, how do you go about getting 2D concept art? I am trying to design my own sci-fi stuff and can't draw for my life. Well, if you can't draw, then the solution is hire an artist. That's what I've done. So the 2D concept art, I either do myself, which I don't usually do because I'm not very good at it. I'm decent okay when drawing on like a piece of paper, but when I try and use my drawing tablet to draw, I suck at it. I use my drawing tablet to sculpt more than I do it to draw. But all the concept art for Warglaive has been done by a friend of mine. Keep in mind, I first started hiring him, I don't know if we were friends at that point yet. I know he had joined the community and I gotten to talk to him and see some of his commissions, and I hired him on to do a lot of stuff. And over these last few years, I would say we've become pretty close friends. Keep in mind, he doesn't give me discounts, nor would I want him to. I want to pay him what he's worth. But he does stuff like this for me all the time, and I appreciate it. Although he's a freelancer, he's not my employee. He doesn't work on Warglaive in the traditional sense of he's a contributing artist, but he's a freelancer. So at any point, he'll take clients for other work, other jobs, other things. Thankfully, though, I'm pretty lucky in getting him to work for me on stuff, and I appreciate it. But yeah, he's pretty cool. And aside from that, totally not at work right now. Well, don't get in trouble if I get that you're totally not at work, but don't get in trouble if you theoretically were. Ugh. Thankfully, Nathan, I think most of the time with well, why? Fuck. Thankfully, I think when it comes to like resin traps like popping, usually it's not like a usually it'll crack open like suddenly, or little pressure just kind of tearing it open, and then the liquid resin will pour out from wherever the bubble is. But I think it'd be extremely rare for there to be like a moment where it just suddenly like explodes. That would suck though. Forbidden gushers. Oh, stop, guys! God damn it! Ugh. What I ever do to you? Yeah, like Pyrrhus does stuff like this for me. He also does. I think the Jekyll helm you guys see in the background, that's the first like 3-angle one he's done for me, specifically for 3D modeling. Most of the concept art he's done for me is like the big, more bombastic artwork. But as for my crude attempts at it, there it is. So this is my crude attempt at the same thing. It's not the worst, but at best it's just serviceable. This is an example of my concept art for 3D modeling. Again, bare bones, gets the job done, but very much not pretty. As I suddenly regrets making a stream. Yeah, I didn't realize everybody would be like, "Hey, let's gross him out." Oh. There you go. Ugh. Alright, so let me do this. Actually, I could cheat. Let me grab those. As a classic Dilbert. Speaking of Dilbert, didn't the well, I'm phrasing it like a question, like I don't know. The creator of Dilbert passed away recently, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta apply edge creases just to be safe. Should think that'll be fine without those. When I passed away, converted to Christianity before he died, apparently. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I'm sure he found comfort in the Father. I won't get, like, you know, I won't, like, get preachy about it, but, good. I respect that, that clarity at the end. More related rune song? That the resin grenade, an impotent wargamer weapon alongside the D4 caltrops. The resin grenade. Oh, God. Can you imagine someone did that on purpose? Brought it to a game. Although, how would you time that? Like, how would you be able to, like, time when the little mini would pop or crack open? The sad thing is, I could think there's got to be, like, people out there who would be, like, fucking sinister enough to do that. Oh. Come on. There we go. Oh, I forgot those two. Shit. Alright, edge and crease. There you go. Oh. Yeah, thanks. Hope y'all are doing well yourselves. I'm doing pretty good. I was up late last night working on Warglaive. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do that at the beginning of the stream, but I'll do it right here. If you guys, or if those out there who aren't already on the, well, it still is, but the call line Discord, although I've renamed it as of this morning. If you want, like, I'm doing daily updates on Warglaive on the Discord. I'm just not adding every single day. I'm not adding everybody. But I am putting up, like, a daily update log on the Discord. In the public Discord, it's in Warglaive updates towards the very top of the server. Every day I'm doing some kind of work on Warglaive, whether it's working on... right now I'm working on an article for the website that just kind of goes over the overview of the sovereignty. Then I'll do one for each of the other factions as well. And doing that. I'm also working on, obviously, 3D sculpts and models for the miniatures. And I'm doing some kind of work. Some days it's going to be extremely minimal. And I definitely do got to take at least 1 or 2 days off a week from working on it. Otherwise, I'm going to burn out, and I don't want to burn out. But for the most part, every single day I'm trying to get something out for, even if it's minor, some kind of update on Warglaive. So I make little GIFs to show like a quick like time lapse of what I did that particular day as well, just so you guys get a good visual of what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm trying to do daily updates. Again, there will be small gaps in between here and there, but for the most part, there's going to be daily updates. Alright, so now that we've done that... Much better. Hey, Calcio. You here for the artillery spam? Well, I gotta switch music on my end. Because the song I've been listening to the last 10 minutes has been the same one. On loop for some reason. Yeah, I suppose I'll open up on Spotify. I was kind of avoiding it. Sometimes I like the randomness YouTube kind of throws at me, but I guess I'll just put on my playlist. That way I don't have to keep checking in and out. Come on. Must we do this every time? Sorry, Spotify asked me to, hey, can you please, we're going to send a confirmation code to your email to make sure this is you. It's like, I check in, I log in like every other day. There we go. Boom. Alright, there you go. Yeah, breaks are important. And yeah, they are. I don't want to take too many of them, though. I don't want to kill any momentum I've been working through. So, for right now... Oh, let me add the head base. I need to label my meshes a little more often. Oh, what does it look like when I turn off the wireframe? Okay. There we go. Is it Koama design? Well, I'm gonna say thank you because it was my idea, but the visual delivery was all Pyrrhus, or Jacob Jones. Jacob Jones Illustrations is, I know, one of his handles online. But Pyrrhus of Epirus is his handle everywhere else. And he's the concept artist for Warglaive. Pretty much the only one at the moment. But I'll say thank you as the idea. Like, one fun thing I will say over these last couple years with working with Pyrrhus on concept art is when we talk back and forth. Because one fun thing is he doesn't just like rely on me to describe every little thing. I like it because oftentimes he will give his input and he will be like, oh, okay, so it's like this, this, and this, and this. And he'll give references that I couldn't even think to use. And he's like, oh, what about this? And I'm like, oh, you know, actually, yes, that works better with the idea I had. So it is actually great working with Pyrrhus because he doesn't just sit there and expect like me to lay everything out and then doesn't provide any input on his own front as the artist. So I do appreciate that. It helps make it helps me get things together a lot faster when, especially since he's a huge history nut. So when I'm having an idea and I'm having a hard time describing something, he'll be like, "Wait, hold on." And then he'll like bring up like a reference to a helmet or a piece of armor in history I never even knew existed. And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Wait, hold on. Speaking of painting, Honornse Tam. Tam? Nico is currently quoting Dawn of War. You're addicted to Dawn of War again. If this continues, I'll start to hear... Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't even read that comment before I saw them. I just saw the quotes. I'm like, why are you quoting Dawn of War? It's not a bad addiction to have, my good brother. It is a good addiction. Good addiction. Yes, yes. Alright, so yeah, let's say they're protruding at roughly the same point. Witness your doom! Yeah, burnout's rough. I just burnt myself out from painting last week. I painted every day, all day when I wasn't working. Bellacore, Hellbrute, 3 Space Marine... Oh, man, I almost read that as chapters. I was like, what the fuck? God, good. My dyslexic ass read that. Okay, characters. That's very different. Redemptor Dread and Chaos Land Raider. Oh god, the list keeps going. Repulsor, Executioner, 4 Lehman Russ, 2 Rurgle Dorns, and a Basilisk. God, and a Partridge in a Battery. Well, that Partridge is probably the easiest paint job. Damn, yeah, I can see burning on that real quick. Yeah, I couldn't paint all that at one time. I'd burn out too. Yeah, painting is relaxing, but don't get me wrong. But I couldn't do that much all at once. I'd like my brain needs to like break up the stimulation, otherwise I'll lose my shit. Are there any factions you have had to leave on the cutting room floor? Yes. There are 2 factions that I wanted and planned initially to put into... I gotta pause my music because that's gonna distract me. But So there are 2 factions that I will say this. They were intended to be in 1st edition Warglaive Gothic, but for the sake of the fact that the rules are still in their infancy and I'm still experimenting with them, as it is, 6 factions is a lot to start with, but I feel that anything less than 6 is going to lack variety, and I really want the initial onboarding offer to be expansive. I want people to have options. So 6 is the minimum I decided to go with. That's 3 Xenos factions and 3 human-derived factions, although 2 of them are alien enough from humanity to be basically, in a sense, Xenos as well. But yeah, I wanted that good spread, so 6 was a minimum. The 2 that are on the cutting room floor that are not... Well, technically I have 4. There are 2 that I've completely removed from the setting altogether, and I don't even think there's a point in like talking about them at that point because I removed them. The 2 that are on the cutting room floor that might be in a later edition, I don't want to. Lore wise, they still exist and are part of the setting, but the 2 that were left on the cutting room floor were. Well, I'm still working on a name for them. Well, I have a term in the lore to refer to them for the Warborn, but the actual name of their race, I'm still workshopping. But effectively, space dwarves. They're a short, scuffy, scruffy humanoid race. They are very different from humans. Obviously, there's a long ass beard. Their skin is described as thicker, thicker than stone, and just as rough looking. But they're space dwarves, effectively. And how they work in the lore is they're kind of related to the Warborn a little bit. The Warborn use them as a... What would you call that? Kind of like a vassal race. So the space dwarves build the Warborn ships and do a lot of the tech-based stuff for the Warborn. Not entirely. The Warborn themselves have what they're called god techs, because the Warborn view all their technology as gifts from their gods. They are embodiments of tools and equipment that the gods themselves bestowed upon them. So because of that, anyone who kind of works with ships, like shipwrights are god techs and god seers, they work on that stuff. The space dwarves are not human-derived like the Warborn are. They don't stem from humanity. They are a native species to the galaxy that they're all in. The reason that they're kind of in like a vassalized state with the Warborn is the Warborn saved them early on with their own primitive ships from being destroyed by a alien race. And because of that, there's kind of like an internal debt that they owe, so they work effectively for the Warborn, and there's a bit of mutualism there. The Warborn don't, as a practice, raid any of the space dwarves' fortresses or any of their major factories, or any world controlled by them is considered under like their purview of protection. And in return, they get ships, they get weapons, they get a lot of advanced technology. So these space dwarves do still exist in the setting, but at current they're not playable, and they won't be for first edition when first edition is ready to go. Again, just because I don't, as it is, balancing the 6 factions we're going to be putting in is going to be a lot. Doing it with 2 more is, I think a little much, especially for first edition. I'd rather get it right with those 6 factions as best we can, and then later on add in probably the space dwarves as an effective additional fighting force. Excuse me. What's the franchise you're most burnt out on? Ooh. That's a long list. Most burnt out on? I'd say... I guess the way to measure that is, what am I mostly apathetic about? If we're going by most apathetic kind of burnout, like I just don't care anymore, I'd say Star Wars. Star Wars is, I just genuinely don't care. Like tomorrow they could announce something really cool and exciting that genuinely is Star Wars at its core. I would not go see it. I would not give a shit. If we're going by what I still have passion for, but I'm just done with and frustrated with, but there's still at least a lingering passion for, I'd say 40K. But I'm not, I'm not completely apathetic to 40K yet. Like, I'm not sick of talking about it from a fan perspective. I'm just sick of the culture war having invaded it and ruined it. But Star Wars, I don't even want to talk about Star Wars half the time. I don't want to ever. I used to really like it. I used to have those nerd conversations about like kyber crystals and shit, right? Now I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that. Like, I don't got it in me. Alright, so we got the bolts on both sides. Alright, what else do we need? Alright, I got that vent port. Wait, is that a vent? Yeah, I think it's a vent port. Okay. Alright, we're gonna make that with a block. Oh, I'm gonna start labeling this. Base plate. Oops. There. House cleaning. I cleaned up the labels. Any other factions I have the cutting room floor? Yeah, there is one other one that I want to put in a later edition, though I'm not going to tell you guys about that one, because that's got lore stuff in it that's kind of secretive at the moment. So there is another one that will be in a later edition, but as of right now, it's on the back burner. It's not going to be there for first edition. I really hope I do get an opportunity to do more than one edition, but first edition is gonna be testy. I'm calling it first as a way of being hopeful that it kicks off well enough that I'll have enough momentum to do more editions. As for the other two that I've kind of discontinued altogether, I mean, I'll hold on to like the idea, but the other two, I don't think they kind of aesthetically don't fit. I think 6 is the right number. Allows a strong variation, like in Drop Fleet. So his own universe has 6, 3 human factions and 3 alien factions, which is pretty much what I'm doing. Oh, my neck. Alright. Alright. Oh, I did it again. Cube. I hit circle. So I hit square again. Alright, Star Wars for you. Oh, okay, so me and Vivek align on this. I like SWTOR, and I'm interested. I do like SWTOR too. That's a game I keep going back to, but also like quitting all the time. Yeah, come on, there we go. Edit mode. Yes, Star Wars. Like, there's still little things here and there that like I still like, but it's just so tiring. It's gonna be a weird shape, but most of this is gonna be obscured. There we go. SWTOR, I'm interested to see what the Fate of the Old Republic is like. I barely interact with Star Wars now. I watch some YouTube What Ifs and the Clone Wars. Star Wars Legion does interest me, though, so I might do something with that. I've been seriously diversifying my miniatures games. The Fallout one has my eye, too. Oh, yeah, so there is a Fallout tabletop game. Yeah, the competition is going to get thick here. 40k is not so much apathy and more just you're tired, boss. Yeah, I feel that. Star Wars is apathy, though I still prod at old stuff. Gotta head out, my family. Oh, see you later, Nico. Have a nice sports dinner. It's a sports dinner. Don't know if your family watches sports together. Oh, okay, so a dinner where you guys are watching sports. No, okay. I was like, are you guys like the first, maybe this is just how tired I am, but the first thought that popped in my head when I just read that was like you guys are playing football, but instead of a football, you guys are like tossing like a turkey or something. It's like, go long, mom. Fuck. Yeah, Star Wars is very strong. I don't care, which is mental considering I love Star Wars growing up. Yeah, I think that's true for like a lot of us, isn't it? And pretty much everyone who's like a nerd today grew up like as like Star Wars being like a key thing that we grew up with that you look back on and it's like it was like the nerd franchise. Like if you liked any other, like if you liked 40k, you had to like Star Wars first. If you're younger, I guess. Like if you were born in like the 70s and you like hit the 80s, maybe I could see someone like getting into 40k before Star Wars. But most people, I'd say, you know, if you're a 40k fan, you probably were a Star Wars fan at some point. In most cases. It's every time. Okay. All right. That looks about good right there. Ah, shit. Let me fix that. Actually, SWTOR is a game I play a lot. I'm 2 class stories away from being a legendary player. Oh, I'm not even a legendary player. I put like, I want to say 800 hours into SWTOR. I've still never hit like legendary. I can't like I've not completed all the campaigns for each of the classes. There's some classes I just don't find fun to play. And I know like they changed it now so you can play any class with basically any spec that remotely fits, which I do like that change. It does remove class identity, but it does make it so classes that aren't fun to play you can now tolerate. Like I can now play an Imperial agent that plays like a bounty hunter, which is so much more fun. But Yeah, traditionally though, the reason I never finished SWTOR, like all the class stories, is because, like, for example, the Imperial Agent and the Smuggler, I hate the cover system. I hate, like, playing like that. And I don't know, something about it just feels so weird and unfun. But pretty much, like, Bounty Hunter was my favorite class to play. Next to Sith Warrior, Sith Acolyte, sorry. Tippy top, Sith Acolyte, right below that, Sith Warrior, then Bounty Hunter. Then I'd say, like, a Republic Trooper. And then below that, just be Jedi Knight / Jedi Guardian. And then below that would be the Consular. And then whatever's left is below that. Sith Warrior. Wait, how many have you made? You only need to make one, dude. Well, I can see like making like two to just like see like the two. Like if you play like a very light side warrior and then play a dark side warrior, like I could see that. I'd say you're doing like 2 playthroughs, but like what do you mean? Like tell me you haven't made more than 2. Let me see if this will work. Okay, there we go. So now I can keep it flat. You have 5? Why? Wait, what? No, like genuine question. Genuinely, why? Like, what am I like? In my head, like I can see 2 for like a light side playthrough and a dark side playthrough, and then obviously 1 would be like the tankier of the Sith Warriors, and the other one would be the dual wielding one, which I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I see like the 2 playthroughs. Why that many? Do you feel bonita today? What? With Star Wars, I see it in this way. There is no need to put passion in something that wasn't made with passion the first day. Wait, let me read that again, because I think I misread that. With Star Wars, I see it in this way. There is no need to put passion in something that wasn't made with passion in the first day. Well, Star Wars, I think, was definitely made with passion. Like, originally. Later on, that definitely isn't true anymore, but it was at the time. You like to replay the story. There is also different romances. Oh, yeah, I guess that, yeah. Isn't there, like, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't there, like, a New Game Plus equivalent with, like, your existing warrior? Probably not, now that I say that. How much time do I have? I got another half hour. Hold on, let me switch to the faces again. I hate when it does that. So turn it off. Well, actually. But Disney Star Wars has no patch. Wait on. One for dark side, one for light, one for middle of the road, one for a bit dark, and another for a bit light. Well, there's really that, like, unfortunately, I would say for like the storytelling of SWTOR is there's really no reward for doing a bit light and a bit dark. Like, like really, there's only solidly 2 playthroughs per character class. Like, there's dark side and light side, effectively, between the classes. Like, doing a mix, you can get some different outcomes, usually only in the main story. But generally, there's not that drastic of a difference if you like do a bit of both or a bit of light, a bit of dark. It really where like the strong differences in the storytelling are is whether you do light side or dark side. Like the game very much rewards like the extremes, I would say, in the narrative. One Juggernaut to romance Lana Beniko, fair enough. One Marauder to romance Vet. Oh yeah, the Twi'lek. One romance Vet. One Jug to romance Darkside Jaisa. Jaisa was my early on. I was like, okay, I like Vet, nice Twi'lek. But then when Jaisa came around and when I converted, like my playthrough of my Sith Warrior, I converted her to the dark side. I was like, yeah, like nah, like she became the romanced option after that. But Disney Star Wars has no passion and therefore doesn't deserve attention anymore. That is true. Disney Star Wars from the get-go is... I can see that, yeah. But prefer the Warrior story to the Inquisitor. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, the Sith Warrior story, I'd say, is the best one I've played. I like it way more than Jedi Knight. Jedi Knight was kind of boring. Granted, I played very light side, so... But with Sith Warrior, especially if you play it like evil, like you just delve right into the dark side on like every choice. Oh, it's so much fun. But yeah, I like Sith Inquisitor though. I put Sith Inquisitor top 2, personally. Well, no, sorry, top 3. I'd put Sith. The only other thing I'd put it behind in terms of stories is Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter, though a bit formulaic, with you could see like the pattern between the two different arcs of the story. I don't know, like the way your character interacts and does things and your choices, it felt very, very free. So I liked it a lot. So I'd put Bounty Hunter top, my second favorite to Sith Warrior, and then Sith Inquisitor third. And then below that would be Trooper. Trooper was a lot of fun. Actually, surprisingly fun. I thought Trooper would be very, very much like, okay, you only really, like your dark side options would be quite vanilla for like a Trooper. Nah, you have some pretty dark choices if you play if you play a Republic Trooper. There's some like oddly dark moments in that story. Okay, so it's got that corroded thing. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Well, let me try doing it this way. I don't think it'll look as good if I do it this way, though. But let's completely poo-poo the idea. Hold on, let me... This might be a bad way to do it, but let me see if it works. You know what does deserve attention? Warglaive. Yes, that is true. I'm totally not biased when I say that. Actually, I could probably turn off the faceplate while I do this. let's... And I did it my way. I only need one playthrough. Oops. Let's try. Nope, actually. This probably won't print as good. Well, no, hold on. Because the head's going to be like this fucking big. As big as my pinky. So I think doing any smaller is just not going to even print well. I could be wrong in that, but I'm going to say it's not going to print as well. So we'll do it like this. Actually, let me do a test thing here. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it like this. Extrude. Part way. All right. There's probably a faster way to do this, but again, in Maya, there's like a weld tool I can use. I don't know if Blender has a weld tool, so I would assume so, but yeah, you know what they say about assumptions. Merge. Last. Jib's competition grows. Apparently more StarCraft minis were announced yesterday. Yeah, I heard about that. They've definitely the choice of Femstodes and to really like double down on that political bending of the knee. Again, I'm pretty black pilled with the community for 40K. I do think a lot of people are just gonna go along with it and keep buying and the like. But to still, it's still a bit of a risk to do that announcement that they chose to do, given given things. Given that there's more and more competition cropping up for their market. I think that's further proof that the fact that they would risk that. I think that's further proof that they are intending to make their traditionally their secondary market of profit, which has been like the video games, the books, and like the animations and stuff. I think GW wants to become a media company rather than a miniatures company. I do think that's what they're moving towards. I think that's why they're doing stuff like this. I could be wrong. Maybe that isn't in their cards, but I think that the days for the tabletop game are numbered. At least if it works out in making like the media company they want to make. Let's get it. You still showing me when you get home? Oh, okay. See you later, Vic. I say that he probably already hopped out. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming for another 20 minutes or so. Unfortunately, downside with being a working man is I have to go to work in a little bit. All right. I know they want to do media stuff. I know that, well, yeah, everyone knows that they want to do it. What I'm saying is I think that they want to switch to that as their primary revenue source. I think that they don't really want to do miniatures anymore. I think they see it as a dying market. And they're trying to hold on to it while they have it, but I think the moment, if the moment arises where they think that they could do a full switch and completely abandon it, they will. Especially if they see the profit margins aren't really there anymore. So I think GW, don't get me wrong, as long as GW can get a profit out of selling the miniatures, they will. Even if they see the primary profits coming from like alternative media sources that they just have to whore out the license for. But if it ever comes to a point where they're making like absurd amount of money on the media front and they're making like half or less than half of that from the sales of the miniatures, I think they'll drop out of the industry altogether and just focus on whoring 40K out to whoever wants to make a TV show, whoever wants to make something new. Let's see how this looks. Don't stop prostitutes like that. They're much more decent than GW. That is a fair point. That is a very fair point to make. I think that's... Alright, and... now... Alright, how's this look? Well, let me move. Kind of looks how I wanted it to. It's not quite as lined as the actual reference art, but again, the miniature itself is going to be so tiny. This is going to, I think, service the same purpose. Let me do this. Alright, now what if I turn off the wireframe? We're making pretty good progress. You paint it? I'm glad you paint it. Yeah, so we still got to do the overhead plate plus the back part and the side. Sorry, and the side tubes. We got a lot to do more, but so far, I think it looks pretty good. Not perfect, but nothing is. I might make a couple adjustments on that later. Right, before I forget, control save. I think I'll call it there. I'll chat with you guys for another couple minutes if you have any questions or just want to, I don't know, bring up something. Hey, Lotus. You'd paint it too, except you can't paint worth a damn. Nah, I'm sure if you got enough practice in, you'd paint a lot of good stuff. A lot of the changes to the older franchises feel like corporate fan fiction. They really do. It's been pretty disgusting what a lot of corporations have done with like the old franchises. It's ironic GW is messing with the very lore that they will lean on for their other projects. Yeah. It's not surprising though. Like again, they're doing what they think will sell and what is popular. I don't think they realize that that like woke is out of vogue with like the average person. People are fatigued by it pretty heavily. I don't think they've thought this through at all. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they, as it is, I do agree with the notion that the community is very whipped when it comes to GW. So, well, we'll see. Is there a game you didn't? What? Helmet kind of reminds me of the Rocketeer. The finished one or just what's there so far? Yeah, I can kind of see it a little bit. Is there a game you didn't like at first, but it grew on you and now you love it? Bannerlord is a Bannerlord. Like first thing that came to mind, like early, like when Ball first started playing it on the server, way back when. I bought it because he was so excited and having fun with it, and then I played it and I was like, oh my god, this is so frustrating. These controls are so out of whack. Like, I really didn't like it at first, and then I went back to it like on my own time, like 2 or 3 years later, and then I don't know, maybe a switch flipped in my brain, but I loved it. And now I have like 700 hours in it. The finished one, okay. Yeah, I can kind of see it a little bit. You know, it's got similar DNA in it. That's yeah, Bannerlord for sure. If we're talking about like tabletop games, I don't know. Most tabletop games I've played, I liked from the outset. Most card games I've played, yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's really the only like games that I didn't like at first that I had to grow on me were usually video games. And Bannerlord's like the big one. I can't think of any other games that like I hated at first, but then grew on me later. Most of the time, I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to like trying new things. When it comes to video games, not just video games, but games as a whole. Like I like gaming in all its forms. I like tabletop gaming. I like video games. I like the whole spectrum. So whenever I go to try something new, it's almost always like with a level of excitement and a level of open-mindedness. The only times I've gone into a game expecting or like with like a more negative outset of a perspective on it is usually like games that are and were woke in their advertising. But then again, most of those I don't ever pick up on principle. I can't remember the last game I got that I saw in the marketing was going to be like that, and then decided to get it just to see if I was right or wrong about it. I don't think there's most of them. I just like I see the turd on the advertisement and I don't buy. So I don't know if necessarily those apply to the question. Yeah, so I'll just go with Bannerlord. That's the only one I could think of that I got because Ball was having a lot of fun with it. I played it and I didn't like it. It just felt off to me. And then later I went back to it and I realized, I didn't give it a real shot and I didn't really try and learn the game properly. And then I had a blast with it. So yeah, Mountain Blade Bannerlord. For you, it was Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, that's fair. Deep Rock Galactic. When I first played it, I will say like that whole genre of games, like the extraction shooter genre. I don't like those games to play solo. Period. Because they're not really meant to be played solo. They're meant to be played with people. And playing with randos is torture on extraction shooters. It's why I hardly play Dark Tide. It's why I hardly play any real extraction shooters, because just playing with randos nowadays, it's just so many people suck at it. So many people, like you will get people in your like matchmaking who are high level, so you're like, oh, okay, this person's played a lot, they know what to do, and then you do a match and they act like they have no fucking clue what the controls even are. It's like nowadays, I would say that there's so many people playing video games that you get so many normies that don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. I know back in like the Xbox Live days, like back in the I'd say the early 2010s, gaming was still, I won't say it was fully niche. It was starting to be a very mainstream thing, but it was more niche than it is now. There was a lot less normie people playing. So most of the times you did like matchmaking and random matchmaking in a video game, you almost always got somebody who at least knew the basics and knew how to play and played regularly. Nowadays, it's not a guarantee in any game you play. Like, you play League of Legends, you play, obviously this is where I'm expanding a bit out of extraction shooters now, but you play any game where you matchmake randomly with other people, it's a blindfolded throw of a dart at a board. Of whether you get someone competent or not. Is there anything you avoided when making Warglaive because it felt like it had been done before? A couple things, yeah, but mostly narrative choices. I wouldn't say... Generally, I don't approach Warglaive with like, okay, I'm not going to do this because other people have done it. As long as I can do something in a unique way, I'm not afraid of like repeating like a cliche or repeating a theme that's been done elsewhere. It's usually, if I avoid repeating something else has done, it's because either I had an idea to begin with that was better, or I thought was unique from it, or a copyright reason. Oh, I can't do that because that's probably a patented thing, or I can't do that because that's literally copyrighted. Like that. Those are the only times I really like actively avoid repeating what other like universes or other like games and stuff have done. I think a good approach when you create anything is you should find other things to be inspired by. You should never seek to copy and paste other things in terms of their integrity wholesale. But don't be afraid to be like, hey, I really like this thing in this universe. I have an idea of like a variation of it that might seem similar if you look at like the front cover, but once you actually go a little more in depth, it's very, very unique from what I'm not afraid of like repeating themes and repeating generalities. As long as I have a creative idea of at least a variation of an idea, then I'll be happy to do it. The only thing I like really avoid is copy and pasting something in it again wholesale. Like that's just kind of shitty and lazy, to be honest. But yeah, I'd say I can't really think of anything I avoided. Most of the things like I'm conceptually avoiding, I haven't had a chance to avoid yet because they haven't been like a present issue. Is like with like monetization and like the sale of things. We'll see how well I handle that, but when it comes to the business aspects, there's a lot of things I want to avoid that GW does, for example. Like well, the fan animation policy and all the other stuff that they've done to the community. Really, it's just I have a huge checklist of here's shit that GW has done, and this is all the stuff that the community hates. This is all the stuff I'm using as a guideline not and to never do. Not at least while I control Warglaive, which I hope to never have to go publicly traded or anything with it. I want to keep it private. And I want to be the sole controller of everything. Because I really don't want to fall into like the corporate... What do you call it? The corporate culture that always ends up destroying these hobbies that we love and these universes that we love. I'd rather keep Warglaive niche that has a small audience that's dedicated to it, that actually is passionate and cares about it, than have like 10 million sales a year and making buco money that I'll have nothing really to do with after a point. So I refuse to play with pugs. Good artists copy, great artists steal. That is very true. The art of the steal for an artist, though, definitely comes down to you can't get caught. So when you steal shit, steal elements of a thing, but never steal, like, if you copy something wholesale and you don't do anything with it once you've taken it and, like, you know, done something to it, people aren't, I would say, though, at the same time people are dumb, people are also not dumb at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, people are dumb when it comes to, like, like abstract concepts of, like, you know, general things. But when it comes to, like, logistical information, when it comes to, like, hardline numbers, people are actually quite smart, I would say, on average. And they will notice if you copy patterns or copy, like, things directly from something else. So, when you steal something, so to speak, as an idea, make sure, like a good thief, you don't get caught. And you hide it well. And to hide stolen ideas or concepts, quote unquote, from another thing, you change them fundamentally. That quote is in fact stolen many times. The irony, but it is fitting. Steal a pose or a shape, make the rest. Correct. That's the fundamental. Like and even then, like, calling it stealing is just to be funny, but let's be honest, it's not stealing. You're inspired by. That's the right term to use. I'll have to link it in the server, but the whole thing with hobbies becoming corpo is like this comic where thing was only cool so long as we were the ones in charge of a thing. Yeah, and that's generally true. When things become corporatized, keep in mind, corporations are, as a concept and as like a practice, they are entirely built around money and only money. Now, as a capitalist, I believe you should have a dedicated, especially if you're going to start a business or you start an IP or start your own thing, you should have a level of business mindedness when you go into it. Have a level of idealism with like how you hope things will go, but also you have to have that practical sense. Now, you gotta get money so you can keep the lights on, so you can keep producing the thing that you love. But where corporations kind of go too far is they take out that human element. Because like an individual capitalist, right, is not a corporation, even if they start a business. Here's why. You can have like 1,000 staff members, you can have 1,000 employees, and you can have like multiple locations. But if you're personally involved and you control things, and the way you ran and start things is from a place of passion and from a place of dedication, you are going to make, like, people will feel that. People will sense that in the product and in the thing that you're making and running. And you will, because you have that personal passion, it's not about the money entirely. Money is a big factor. It's important, and it's definitely why you keep going. But it's not the outcome that you're after solely. Not usually for like an original creator of something. Money is a happy byproduct of it, but if you want to make money, there's there's 1,000 ways you could do it in shady, easy ways that are way easier than starting an IP or starting a copyrighted business or doing something creative. If you go into a creative field, it's usually because you have a passion for the thing at first. So where an individual capitalist is better than a corporation, like a corporate body, is because you have that personal investment, because the business, the IP, or whatever it is started is a reflection of something you're passionate about, something that you care about. You care about the end product and that how people receive it as much, if not more so, than how much you care about like the revenue garnering, like how much you get in profit. Now, it's, again, with any capital business or anything like that, you should want profit. You should want to be in the green, if for nothing else, then so you can perpetuate yourself continuing to make the thing that you're passionate about. So, not really, but in relation to that, you also have that passion, though. You still care about what the product is and how it's seen and like the creative process. Corporations, that personal investment, that legacy, that passion that started everything, poof, gone. Now, yeah, that person who might have done that might be the CEO now, but they now are not, their relationship with like the end product is now no longer solely with the customer. It's now with shareholders, it's with a board of directors, it's with lawyers, it's with so much other stuff that just completely rips apart and takes away all of that passion and all of that creative juices, and now replaces it with logistics, with numbers, with sales figures, and with projections and sales projections. Everything gets so streamlined and converted into numbers that the humanity and like the creative aspect is completely lost. And that's why, I'd rather never get to a corporate point with Scarlet Game Studios and Warglaive. I'd rather keep it private, even if like I never like make a shit ton of money on it, or even at times occasionally lose money like on a given quarterly earnings or whatever. As long as I can keep the lights on, like if I hire staff, and I do hope to get to that point where I can expand enough to hire staff and have like a location to do everything. Whoops. I would hope that I would get it. I would be making enough to pay for everything and pay for everybody. Have enough to start saving on the side for myself and for so I can thrive and live. And of course, invest back into Warglaive and keeping everything going. I don't need to make like triple profit on every single like miniature that we produce or every like book we sell. Like if you're in the green a little bit, and keep in mind in the green after you not only pay for the material costs but also the labor costs if you have employees. After all of that is factored in, if you're in the green at all, I think you should be satisfied with that. But corporations aren't. Corporations are not satisfied if they are not making more money than they did the last time that they calculated those earnings and those projections and stuff. It's a corporations are a machine that is continually trying to ever escalate the number that they garner. And if they ever plateau, corporations consider that a failing business. If you are plateauing and you're not making more and more and more, if you just hit a flat line, even if you're in the green objectively across all things, like if you're making money and everyone involved is making money, it doesn't matter because you're not making more money than you did the year prior or the year prior to that. Corporations consider that a failure, and that's where stocks get sold and everything, and it's all so tiresome, and it's all so soulless. Yeah, it's just something I don't ever want to get stuck in. I would rather keep the business private and worry about the sales figures and all that here and there when it just came to, on a personal front. But yeah, there's just, corporations suck, man. Not to sound like a 90s college rebel, but yeah, the corporos suck so bad. But I fundamentally believe while corporations suck, individual capitalists, what's the term? Entrepreneurs and business makers, that is where capitalism is like at its best and where it thrives. It's where you have that person who started the business, who has the passion for the product and also wants to give the client the best product while getting their money's worth back. Yeah, corporations have the legal precedent, have to appease stockholders over customers. Exactly, and that's why that they're, in many ways, I would say corporations aren't a product of capitalism. Well, they are, but they're not a they're kind of anti-capitalist at that point, at that level, because with capitalism, it's competitive prices at competitive, like it's supply and demand, it's competitive prices and competitive marketing, and it's ideally it's a relationship between the business owner and the customer, and that's always, and then finding that kind of silent negotiation between the two. Like, you set up a price tag, customers don't buy them, it's like, okay, we got to adjust. How can we afford to like cut down the price and still make a profit? Okay, we'll cut it down. All right, customers are now buying it. Competitive prices, competitive quality. That's what it's supposed to be. Corporations are, in my opinion, are antithetical to that capitalist relationship, because they take out that focused relationship with the customer and with the people you're servicing and the product that you're personally investing in. And now it's not about the customer. It's not about that silent relationship with that. It's not ever improper to, as a capitalist, be anti-corporation. Like the socialists and the communists obviously have made it so whenever anyone like talks about like hating on corporations, unfortunately we all get kind of dragged in to it. But yeah, I'd say even as a capitalist, I'm pretty anti-corporation. Anywho, that lengthy rant aside, I do gotta leave and get ready for work. YouTube is telling me I'm having a signal problem anyway right now. I don't know what that's about. But, yeah, I will wrap up there, guys, and say thank you so much. Whoops, I put that over there before I clicked the button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yep, the difference between corporatism and the free market, yeah. Communists try to conflate corpos and free market, yes. And that's what's frustrating with dealing with that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up there, guys. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed this. Again, most of my work on Warglaive is going to be off stream, but I might do these on occasion just to kind of like check in and give people the opportunity to like ask questions and kind of check in, or kind of if people have curiosities, they can directly ask me from time to time. But for the most part, if you guys want daily updates on Warglaive, though, check out the I've linked it in the description. Check out the Discords. The Discord has towards the very top of everything, it has Warglaive updates. I try and do at least a daily update on something every single day. If I'm going to take a day off and just relax, and keep in mind, a day off from Warglaive is not a day where I'm not doing anything. I have a day job. I work 40 hours minimum a week, so I am a full-time employed person trying to balance all this. But so keep that in mind. A day off is just meaning, okay, the hours I would be working at Warglaive, I'm now taking to relax before I have to go to my day job. So anyway, love y'all. See you guys later.